Big news, guys. I'm walking into the mine right now and we're getting ready to kick off the 2024 mining season. Last season, I opened a 125-year-old gold mine. We rehabbed over 1,000 feet of workings. We got to the gold vein and we started drilling and blasting. We found amazing gold specimens and mucked out a bunch of gold ore last year. And I hope you guys are as excited as I am to get season 2 going. I wanted to combine the whole last season of my gold mining adventure and give you guys a good review before season 2 starts. And it's finally happening. I'm putting the road in right now to the mine. This is where you're gonna walk out and we're gonna have to do some more work here, but we'll be able to come right to the mine portal. And the first part we got to do is get the mine safe to work in, and that's going to begin with the portals. I got a portal right here, and I've got a portal right here behind me. And then once I get it timbered up, I can put some doors on it, keep it safe, and then we can get back into the mine. Instead of going to the store to buy timbers, that's just boring, I thought I'd go cut down some trees and build up my own. On today's video, we're going to be taking out this big old spruce here. To scale a log, you measure across the small end here. This is the small end of the log. 25 inches that way. So we had 25, and then lengthened feet down the side here. So 32 and 25, that's 920 board feet. When I scaled all 4 of those logs together, I got just over 2,100 board feet. And at right around 5 or 550 a thousand, that's just over $1,000 in those 2 trees. All right, well, against my better judgment, I got that whole 40-foot log up on the truck bed. So I'll cut some nice beams and lagging out of that stuff. And I'm gonna cut them into true dimension 6x6, 4x4s, and then 2x for lagging. All right, Fred, what do you think of the logs?
It's dirty.
It's dirty.
It needs to be clean.
Is that a good log or a bad log?
It's fine.
It's a fine log. It dulled already, huh?
The dirt.
Boy, somebody brought dirty logs.
Dirt is bad.
Well, we've whittled our log down to this. We got a bunch of 2x here. We're going to edge a little later, cut down to a little more manageable size. Those are way too wide to handle underground. But this, what we have left over, we can get 6 6x6s out of. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bunch of lag in there. Nice 2x6s, 2x8s, 2x12s. Here comes Jason bringing up the first load of lumber to use in the mine. It's like it was meant to be. 3-point turn, everything went just perfect. Well, now let's get started on our portal here. I've got a real nice hitch right in here, and I've got a nice hitch here. So I'm going to start by just wedging a 4x4 right across here. These battery-powered tools are going to revolutionize the gold mining industry for me, because you can take them underground, they don't have any emissions. And when I was doing it back 15 years ago, we had air saws, hand saws for tight spots. It was just a real pain. So this is going to make my job a whole lot easier. Well, I've actually changed my mind. I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm just going to bring some 2x4s up, screw it into this header on each side, wing one out across the bottom, and then I can get this thing plywooded up and closed. There's really nothing I need to support here. It's all good ground, nice solid stuff. I just need to block it off. I'll get our job done. We can move on to something else. Well, here's our other portal. This is the one that we're going to be actively using. We got our iron pipe out of here, so now let's muck this stuff out, figure out what we can tie to on good solid rock. So what I want to do is make a little deck out here, and once I get the deck out here, then we can start accessing the truck a whole lot easier. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run some uprights, lag them into this rock here, and bring the deck and attach them to those uprights, and that way we can access the truck from over that way. So I put this little ladder in here so you can access it right off the truck landing here. You walk up, you get a nice platform here, and there's back into the mine. I got our first portal finished off there, got it all closed up so no one's going to wander in there. I've got everything kind of fit in there, and I'm going to wedge down from the top on both sides, so that'll just tighten everything up, just squeeze everything vertical, and then we'll have a nice good foundation to build off of here. There we go. Now I got a spreader bar for my posts. I don't know if you can tell from the video, but they're tweaked in just a little bit. Now I'll get some screws in here, and this will hold them apart so they don't just collapse if they get some pressure on them. Well, we did it. We got it all boarded up, but we are all sealed up. Both portals, that one and that one over there. So mission accomplished. I'm going to try and get this pile of rock through that crusher right there, put it back on the truck, and then we're going to try and get it up this road all the way up to my gold mine back over here, because I got to get it inside, level out the drift so we can start working there. This is one of Mount Baker Mining and Metals 8x12 gas-powered jaw crushers. Here's the feed inlet. So I'm just going to huck rocks in here. They're going to fall down in here and through the jaws. Once they get through the jaws, they'll come down this little chute here. I'm going to try and catch them in a sandbag there. Well, I don't know if you'd call that fun, but I got 20 bags crushed. It's way less work to take two 20 or 30 pound rocks, put them right through the crusher, and then you got a sandbag full rather than picking up, you know, the 24 little tiny rocks. But now what I'm gonna do, I got the truck pulled out. I'm gonna just crush 3 or 4 big piles here so that I'll have gravel if I ever need more. And I got this mountain of stuff behind me that's gonna make real nice crush. I could not keep up with it. The hopper was never full. The rocks were always going in the jaw, and as soon as I threw one in, it always went down into the jaw. It made a fantastic pile of gravel. And again, this is a demo unit, and it's up for sale. Okay, now I gotta get these bags up there. That's the other thing I wanted to test out. I figure I've got 20 bags there. Each weigh about 50 pounds a piece. So I've got 1,000 pounds up there. And I wanted to make sure my deck could hold that much. So when we wheeled out a wheelbarrow full of muck or something, and a couple guys are standing on it, it can support that without just giving away. I wanted to show you what I'm dealing with. I've got all this mucky, wet, soggy stuff, and I want to get a pretty firm base that I can run the wheelbarrow down. So let me get it raked out a little bit, get some of these bigger rocks out of here, some of this old boards and junk, and then we'll get it spread and make a super freeway for my wheelbarrow. Well, that's something. Well, there we go. I ended up going about 55 feet, but the gravel's held up pretty good. So here's my plan. I've got about 10% of the way there. So today we're going to do some timber sets. We're going to get this shop area cleaned out. There we go. I got my little lantern going so you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. Bunch of rail, bunch of junk. So I'm going to get this all cleaned up so I can do some timber work in here. But this little thing is the coolest thing. Little battery powered lantern. It's an LED thing. Lasts a long time. So I got a link in the description if you want to check that thing out. Okay, home sweet home. I got everything piled back in the corner there. I'm going to build a timber wall all the way across here so I can just isolate that whole section. It's kind of nasty and I don't want to do a bunch of bolting right now and screwing around, so I'm just going to block it off, and then if we need it for storage or something later, we can come back to it. But I think this will be plenty of storage. It'll give us 6 or 8 feet off the main drift there, and we can store supplies and stuff in here. And our first hitch is going to be right up there. There's a nice little spot right there I can get a timber in. And I brought up these big 6x6s, true dimension. They're 12 feet long, so we'll get some of these cut down to the right dimensions. The bottom's about a foot down there, just covered in muck. But I'm down a nice hard rock there. All right, so from the bottom, my hole, 115. So I need a stall 115 inches long. So let me get this thing cut at 115. See if it'll do it. It's a true 6x6. It's going to be close. Woo. Oh man, look at that. Right through a knot the whole way. I was wondering why it was hard to cut. I guess when you have a knot, it slows you down a little bit. Boy, it powered right through. Nice work. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Oh. Well, I've done some trimming on it. I think it's going to go in there now. So now I just got to tap it in. All right, well now I'll take some wedges. Well, let me tell you, this one was a pain in the keister. But I think I got it where I wanted here. There we go. Like that. Now let me get some wedges in the top there. I'm just going to drive 2 wedges. I'm on my second one here. Okay. Good. Good stuff. Now for one in the middle. This one I'm going to try and hitch right up in here, so I need a real steep point on it. So let me get a point on this guy. All right, guys, well, my battery's running low, and my batteries are running low. So I'm going to call it quits today, but I wanted to give you a little update. I've got our stalls kind of walled off. I put some bigger timbers in the middle so I can hang stuff off of. This is going to be kind of our shop room. It's not the prettiest thing I've ever built, but it's going to be functional, so that's what we're going for here. We got our shop space all set up. I wanted to give you a little bit of a tour. We got our wall there behind us, all our tools hanging on there, some slickers, PPE stuff over here, and then back here is the way into the mines. I'm doing a little bar down training in here and looking for loose stuff. As he goes along, he's just testing for the sound initially. It's got that nice ring to it, so it's all pretty good ground here. But anytime you go into a new heading, you want to just bar down, make sure there's nothing over your head. Pretty good ground, huh?
Yeah, no, it all sounds great. A couple of small, very tiny pieces that are coming down. Real small stuff, but no, ground
Cool.
looks great.
Well, we barred down the first 100 feet or so. Now our next job is getting rid of all this rail, all this timber, all this junk.
Quit. Ready? Which way are we going? Go down there? Yeah, might as well. I'll pipe one down the hole. Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
Nice deep hollow sound. Good. Write your names on that. You gotta sign it, it's your first one.
All right, autographs.
There we go, sign in their first stall. Somewhere, yeah, up where it stays dry. And okay, now you're part of history. Good work, guys. Well, I'll follow Harry and Chad back underground here. We'll get a tour of what we accomplished yesterday. We're gonna do our workplace inspection, do a little bar down on the way in here. And we ended up going about, what, 100, 150 feet or so yesterday?
Yeah, that sounds right.
How's it look, Harry?
Wonderful.
Barred down?
Yeah.
Workplace inspection, looks good.
Nothing's moved.
Okay. Cool. Let's go back and take a look at that heading we closed off. Show them how we did that. Underground signage is a big deal. That's the way to the exit. That's our portal there. So you want to mark that with signage. And here's a drift we're not going to be using. So we just closed it off, no entry. So we don't have to maintain that. That can be just left as is. And everyone knows now to stay out of there because it's not safe. It hasn't been inspected and barred down. And then turning around here, walking a little further down the drift. Here's some air hose we left from yesterday, our airline. That's a big, heavy steel bugger. It's really, really difficult. When you find a coupling like that, they can wedge it up and beat on it. It comes apart, just like here. We got some wood, blocked it up, and it broke. This is as far as we've gone. You can see the signs down there, restricted area, do not enter. So this is as far as we've rehabbed our mine now. But if you look up, this big raise goes up there. I don't know, what do you think, 50 feet? And we don't want to be working under all that rock up there. We don't want to have to get up there and maintain it. It's just not safe. So in our next video, we're going to put up some stalls here and lag that off so we have some protection from overhead. We're gonna set some stalls, one right here, one in the middle, and a big 6x6 stall here. So our first job is to get these cut to length. I gotta get up there and measure from the footwall to the hanging wall and get a measurement so then we can get it cut down and wedged in there. So our first thing is we were barred down in here a little bit and we found this big nasty piece right here. Big chunk of quartz, hundreds of pounds. And imagine someone walking under there and that thing comes down, that's a backbreaker or a killer there. So it's really important before you get in your workspace, you bar everything down and make it safe for yourself. So I'm gonna try and get this loosened up and out of here. We'll see if I can get it. You want to stand back out of the way. I'm clear. I got an escape way behind me here if I need. We'll just get this thing going and see what happens.
Look at that. Oh, man.
Okay, ready? Here it comes. Woo! Yeah, as long as they're manageable to move around. All right, we'll get it cleaned up. So our first stall is gonna go, I got a nice little hitch here. Just gonna measure up. I've got a really nice spot here. And it's more or less perpendicular to the hanging foot wall, which is what you want. That's where you're gonna get your most strength. So we need one. So 69.5, 69 3/4 roughly.
69 3/4.
69 3/4 out of our 4x6. And a little bit of a blunt point on one end. So just like shave out, get like a 3-inch point, just kind of shave off the corners a little bit. So this is going to be my first hitch on the bottom here. So I'm going to get our base right here. And then right there, right where my light is. I don't know if that helps. Right in there. Now go the short way.
Oh, the short
Does
one.
that make sense?
Just the short sides?
Well, let me see. Hold on. Now I'm second guessing myself. I want it there. And so, no, you're right. I want the long sides. Yeah, just like you were doing.
Okay. How many sides do you want like that?
Just the other side. Why don't we just do the other side for now? Make it a little blunt wedge.
He likes it.
All right. Let's get this up here.
Got the weight.
There we go. Now. This is always the tricky part when you gotta find a spot. Let's shave off about a 1/2 inch off the bottom. 1/2 inch high. Take off the half and then you can get it over where I want.
Where are your gloves, Jason?
Gloves? You don't need any gloves. Here we go, ready? Wedge going in. Yeah. That's going. All right, first stall in. 2 more to go. The easy one's done. We've changed our plan a little bit. We've moved our stall down. And when I was up there, I was picking on some of this ravelly stuff up above. And when you're up there, you can get a little better look at it. And we made the decision to bring our stalls down closer to the haulage way, run a piece of lagging all the way across to hold any of this loose stuff, any of these cracks. It's all in pretty good shape. Got a little cap on there. And so we're gonna bring another stall, a 6x right down there by Chad's knees, bring it up. Then we're gonna do a spreader between the two of them, and then we can stack our lagging up behind and get this all sealed off. Yes. Go Milwaukee. So we're gonna just we're gonna lift it straight up and just get it there.
Okay.
And then we're gonna ease it into our board and see how we fit. Ready?
Ready.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
And you can flex that board up.
Yeah, I can push it up a little bit. Here, I got this.
It's going like a quarter, but
There, yeah, almost a little more.
one more push.
Can you hammer it down?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Hold it right there.
Okay.
That's what we want. Go ahead and tap it down there a little more, Chad. And then maybe tap that block. Just lightly, we'll take them out later, but. Okay, good, we got our stall set there at least. Okay, Harry, what do you think?
Well, it went in pretty easy, but I don't like how the board flexes.
Yeah, we'll tighten all that up later.
When we
Here's-
block that, we think we should be good. What do
Here's
you?
here's the thing I don't like,
Yeah, that'll kick right out.
is it'll kick right out. And so we're gonna have to do something there to beat it back up.
You need a
And
hitch.
we probably are gonna have to shorten it some. So we'll deal with that next. We got our stall set. That was quite a chore, but we did it. I put a little spreader in here across the header because this beam is tweaked in just a little bit. So if this starts taking any weight, it can't just fall in like that and the whole thing pops out. And now we're starting to work on getting our lagging wall built up. So here in about 5-10 minutes, this will be sealed off and we can have a nice safe haulage way underneath. We're just finishing up our little project here with the locking off the rays. And look at that, thing of beauty. Man, that was a big project. But we've got our big stalls holding back true 2-inch lagging. And that'll hold up stuff that comes rolling out of there if it ever does. I doubt it ever will. The ground here is really, really good. But we're protected now. And now we can move ahead and keep going. You're looking back towards the portal now. And on the left, we've got our little drainage ditch. And we drained this section real nicely. So we got fairly dry, hard ground. But then we've got this big one over here, and that's about 6 or 8 inches deep. So our goal today is just like Harry's working on here, dig out our drainage ditch, get these big piles of muck spread out so we can get our carts and wheelbarrows through here. We're raking the big stuff off the top, and we're spreading it here on the. There we go, building up a nice base. We're building it out a bucket at a time. Yeah, Chad's got a lunker here. All right, Chad, let's see if we can knock this guy down. Oh yeah. Yeah. Good one. Yeah.
You want the long pole?
That's why we bar down.
That's why we bar down. Don't want to get hit with that. Now it's easy. Yeah, just roll that stuff around. We'll put rock on it. And you may be asking yourself, why in the world are you doing all this work? Just run your wheelbarrow through it. Well, it's really hard to run a wheelbarrow back and forth through 6 inches of water and 3 inches of muck. And the couple hours it took us to improve, uh-oh, my light's going dead. A couple hours it took us to improve our drift here is gonna save us a ton of time and energy and cursing and everything when we're actually mucking. All right, let it have it, Chad. Here it comes.
Yeah, let the river go.
There we go.
Now to drain the line. Man.
There she goes. It may not look like much, but we worked an hour just to see this. This is a big deal. We're getting the water out of here.
It'd be so exciting.
I know, this is like, This is, this is so much fun. Look at all that water running downhill just like it's supposed to do. Is everybody still smiling?
End of day, we're still smiling.
We're still smiling, we're doing it. Harry, are you smiling?
Yeah, what's this?
Yeah, watch this. Hey, there he goes.
Yeah.
You can put a sluice box in there.
Yeah, we need a sluice.
Yeah. Yeah, we should sluice all this. That's a fantastic idea.
Quick, plug it back up.
Yeah, quick. Stop the flow. Yeah, drain the mine. Just a bunch of kids playing in the water is what it is. And now we're continuing down the haulage way. The rest of it here looks really pretty good. But here's our next project, the raise. And I want to say a huge thank you to mine operator. Those guys worked their butts off. I don't think I've ever seen guys work that hard doing a crappier job. Hand mucking junk off the floor is just a horrible job. And they did fantastic at it. Smiles on their face the whole time. Excited to get back at it the next day. So thank you, mine operator. They have a YouTube channel, so check it out. I'll leave a link in the description below. You're looking up about a 55-degree raise. So we got to get this thing timbered up so we can get up about 40 feet to the stope. And once we get to the stope, then we can rehab the stope along the track and get back to our vein and start mining some gold. We are over 600 feet underground. And we have rehabbed our workings all the way to this point. We've got to go up about 30 or 40 feet. You just can't quite see it. But right up there about 35, 40 feet on the left, there's a little transfer way that goes over to the stope. First thing we got to do is get all our wood back here. And a 600-foot walk. Crouch down half the way with a bunch of 4x4s. It's going to take a lot of trips to get all the wood back here. Well, we got everything we need. We got our wood, we got our tools, Milwaukee Sawzall and circular saw. He's over here scaling down our work area so we can be in there safely. And we got this slick little sawhorse set up so we don't have to be cutting in the mud. That works slick. Now we're gonna need a point on one end. So like 45, actually I'll show you the hitch. So here's the one hitch. Okay. That'll just be flat on this side.
Okay.
And then over here, we're gonna grab it right in this notch. Okay. And so it's a pretty steep thing, but I can take it and I can see what we're doing, and I can take it and wedge it in here. Okay. And wedge this side because all the weight's going to be pushing this way up the raise, right? Okay. Good. All right, first one done. Get up there to our next stall here. Okay, Harry, ready? Ready. 57 plus the tape. 59 3/8. Okay, number two's in. Well, let me get up here one more. We'll set one more stall. We found that logistics here is becoming a little bit of an issue now that we're back 600 or 800 feet and up the raise. So we're trying to come up with creative and more efficient ideas on how to get stuff back. And we got this whole pile of wood that's all got to go. That's just a small portion of it. So we're trying to lash to the wheelbarrow and one guy pull and one guy kind of push and stabilize the back. But here's more wood. We got wood here. We got wood here. We got that pile of wood. It's all got to go back 600 feet and then up the raise. Using wheels.
Yeah. Heck, I almost could push it. It's almost easier for me.
Yeah, maybe Harry steers and you.
Yeah. Hey, Matt, I'll let you figure out the angle. I'll just go.
Works better. Still some improvement to be made, but I think we can make that work and make it better. How many ladders do we have? 5?
Yeah, that's number 5 right there.
5. So we're adding rungs to our 4th ladder. We got our ladders in. We've set these 4x4s up as vertical so we can separate the ladder from the chute. And now we're taking these big 2x10s and 2x12s and we're making our chute. So we'll see how this goes. It's going to get a little tricky when we come up around this corner, but we'll make it work somehow. Cut it till it fits, I guess. All these angles are really giving us a workout, a brain workout. The manway and chute is coming along here. We're up, I don't know, probably halfway. I've got some more stalls to set. I've set my stalls up here. I'm sitting on this one. And we are at the transferway. Every time you come up, it keeps getting longer and longer.
I know, never ending, right?
Never ending. We're getting real close. Chad's up here with me. We're at the top of our ladders right now, and then we can look right down the transferway here. And then we need to build a little deck right in here so we can have some lids that flop down so don't have an open hole. Need to work on getting our chute up here. And then we can continue down the haulage way. Progress, progress.
Yes, sir.
You got a dangle?
Dangle. We could cut and then make it flat. Or just
Oh, I see what you're talking about. Well, maybe we don't rest it on the 2x4 and just rest on 2 4x4s.
Yeah.
There, how's that?
That'll work.
And then our lid will be totally separate.
Okay.
We're just putting our finishing touches on the raise here. Here's the bottom of the raise. Chute on the left, ladder on the right. We've got it separated with 1-bys. I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to climb the raise all the way to the top so you guys can get a full top to bottom view. There's a total of 52 steps, spaced at 12 inches apart. So we have 52 linear feet of ladder. And I believe at about 45 degrees, that's about 35 or 40 vertical feet of elevation. There's our chute and our wall keeping it separate. There's our platform. Come right up the ladder here. Step out onto our platform and we're good to go. And looking back towards Harry, this is the transfer tunnel. So this connects the stope with the raise and then down to the blacksmith haulage way. So we're gonna walk down the transfer way. It's about 75 feet or so. And and that'll give us a view up into the stope. But the problem is we got a couple of nasty holes over our head that we need to close off. So we're gonna continue down that way about 10 more feet, and then we're gonna build a ladder. But if you look up, I got a stole set there. If you look up, you're looking up into the stope now. You can see the old airline, the metal airline from the 20s, the PVC airline from the 70s and 80s, and there's a group of guys in here trying to make it work. They never did do much. But right up where that airline goes is the tracks that run all the way back to our working face. Let's see if I can get this on video and do this with one hand. Got it? All right. There we go.
Chad, I think ready for the next one.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. You deal with Chad. We're getting our lid going. I'll show you what it looks like here in a couple minutes when we're all done. But just remember, all of our material now has to come all the way in the blacksmith tunnel, 600 feet, up the raise, through the transfer tunnel to here. So our logistics are getting pretty complicated. But that is the lower stope. Here's a look at our lid from the top down. And now we're working on setting some stalls here against the footwall and the hanging wall, so we can run some netting there and block that off, because we won't be working back over there. And we don't want anybody wandering back over there and doing something bad. Let's see how fun this is. We're using our orange fencing here. Going to connect it through to these stalls that we've set. Back over that way. We'll see how this works.
One nice wrap.
Well, it's not going too bad, actually.
Great.
It's coming along real nice. That'll keep people out. Our stalls are just to hang that netting. They're not supported. And we'll hang some signs on there that says keep out, do not enter. But I think that's going to work well. I've got a big nasty chunk right up there. I'm trying to scale. I'm working on our escape way here. So we're going to come up that way. Right up through there. And then out to the daylight. But I got to make sure our escape path is clear. So I got to knock this big sucker off here. Let's see if I can do it. With one hand. I got her pretty well loose. It's a big one. Here it comes. Nice. That was a big monker, huh? You don't want that coming down in your head. Now that all sounds good up there now. Got some more right here. It's got to come down. Whew. That was a big one, though. Let's see if I can get her here. Oh. Here it comes. Ooh. Well, I was just working that spot I scaled and found this guy. And that is the stuff we're looking for. I can see some gold in there. Let's see if I can point it out. There's some gold right up there. There's a little bit right down there as well. Real crystalline stuff, but this is the good looking stuff. And I'll show you, it's right up there. There's a thin little whisper of stuff right on the hanging wall. And that's where I found it. That whole little quartz stringer is loose. I'm gonna pry him off of there and we'll take another look. There's some gold there by my thumb, but I'm working on getting a little pile of it down here. You can see here, I wanted to show you actually, this is a really good spot to talk about this little geologic phenomenon here. So this is a thin little band right here that's carrying some really, really nice stuff, really rich gold. This is a nice, slick surface all the way along the hanging wall, right? And here's a pillar for comparison. That pillar is about 4 or 5 feet tall, wide, and that's where the vein went from the footwall all the way up to the hanging wall. Well, this little tiny thin little band here came squirting in probably at the very last little bit, found the separation between the original quartz vein and the hanging wall, and injected a bunch of fluid right in there. And now you have this really thin little band right across the hanging wall that's just loaded with gold. And that's where I'm finding all that stuff. I'm putting in a pile down there. So just another example of how the vein here is 4 or 5 feet wide, and there may be various sections, like see this right here? That looks like a little bit of a different vein characteristic. Let's go down and take a look. So see that even entrained, it's called a horse to waist. There's waist in the middle of the vein. There's vein below it, horse to waist. So there may be multiple injections of fluid in this vein system, and not all of them are carrying gold. See, here's that little piece I'm probably working. And it's got that shiny, dull gray looking stuff. That's the good stuff. But when you come down here, it's much more massive, coarser crystals. You don't see any of that shiny gray stuff. This just looks like bull quartz. There were only 1 or 2 events that brought the gold-bearing fluid into this system. And then after that, or before that, it's just pretty much waste quartz, bull quartz. So there you go. Geology lesson of the day. I'm scaling and I'm finding gold. That's a good problem to have, huh? Well, it's been a morning of moving wood. We're working on getting our netting up here, and I was just walking by and saw a piece of ore that looked pretty good. Picked it up. A big old piece of gold sticking out of it. So I guess we're in the right spot. Long day.
Almost.
It's getting dark outside.
Yeah, it is. Time for dinner.
We better go home.
Sounds good to me.
All right, we'll pick it up tomorrow. All right, everybody, we have our secondary escapeway in. Our active heading is down there. We are at the working face. We're going to be working all across here. And right now, we've got a big pile of muck here that the old guys left. And we're going to get this out of our way before we start drilling and blasting. Okay, let's make a sandbag full of gold here.
All right.
Oh man, I can't wait to get into that face behind you.
Soon.
Yeah, we're coming for you. We're coming for you.
All right.
I'm sitting in a gold mine that's over 125 years old. This mine hasn't been worked since 1925 or 26, so it's been almost 100 years, and that's going to change today. We're going to drill and blast and muck in here, and hopefully we're going to find a lot of gold.
All right, Jason is washing down the face, getting ready to drill.
Yeah, I'm trying to see where the hanging wall and footwall are, so we don't take a bunch of waste with our shot.
You thinking of doing a split shot?
Yeah, we'll take the vein first on this first stope round, and then that'll give us some muck to play with while we're developing our drift back this way. So we're putting on our wick checks here, getting our air line and water line all ready, and then I'll go over the drill a little bit with you. The fun's gonna start in about 5 minutes. All right, we are about to start drilling. It's been a long road. It's taken us almost a month to get here, guys, but we are ready to do it. This is a Gardner Denver FL83 drill. It's got a pneumatic leg. It's a 2-stage leg. We got a little short leg on because we're working in our narrow stope where we don't have a lot of room. This is called the corn cob. I don't know what the real name is. That's what I've always called it, or heard it called. This gives air to the leg. So as you turn that up, you give more air and extends the leg and pushes harder, and then drops it all the way down and kills the air to the leg. This is the throttle to the drill. So you can, it clicks so you can adjust how hard you want it to hit and the speed it goes, and then you can also all the way back blows air down through the steel and into the bottom of the hole. The drill is hollow, and water that runs down the drill steel all the way to the bottom of the hole, clear it out and keep the dust down. You'll see a lot of fog in here today. That's all water. There's not even any dust in here. You'll see the holes today, there's gonna be water and cuttings running out of the holes. So it's not quartz dust we're breathing. This thing runs on about 120 PSI. We have 185 CFM compressor out there. You can only run one drill on that size compressor. We're gonna be drilling 4-foot holes today. We're gonna take a stope round starting about where I'm sitting and working across towards Harry there. It'll be about 25 feet long. We figure the vein averages about 3 feet. Some places it's 4, some places it's 2.5, and that's somewhere around 15 to 20 tons of muck. We've got about 30 to 35 holes to drill, and the plan is once we get them drilled, we'll get it all blasted, and then tomorrow we can come in and take a look at our muck pile. I want to take a little minute to talk about, the history and what it means to me to be here. I've been coming up here since I was a teenager. I've been all through all these old workings, come down to this face here behind me for the last almost 30 years, been chipping gold off the face, and I've been dreaming about this day for probably decades. And it's finally going to happen. And it's a really weird feeling. I'm a little nervous and anxious about it. I hope everything goes well. We've come so far, and all we got to do now is drill and blast it. All we got to do. We've been working for almost a month to get here. We've done all the rehab work, all the timber work. We timbered up the raids. We got the air line in. We got the water line in. We have our escapeways in. We have the stove has been rehabbed. We've got the drill up here, we've got the steel, we have the compressor, it's just, the list goes on and on and on and on and on of things that we've had to do to make it to this point. This mine was discovered in the late 1890s, so it's been around for over 125 years, and it hasn't produced gold since 1925 or 1926. So it's a really weird feeling to be sitting here. I'm standing on the shoulders of all the people in the history that have worked in this place. There's hundreds and hundreds of men that made it possible for me to sit where I'm sitting here today and be able to drill and blast this face. You've got all the guys, the discoverer, all the guys who developed the mine, the guys who did the trails, the pack guys, the mill guys, the refining guys, all the miners, everybody. There's so many things that had to happen for me to be able to sit here today and make this video. And I feel like there's, the ghosts of 100 people standing behind me, and they're all supporting me. This was a big part of their lives. This is going to be a big part of my life. I will remember this forever, and I'm so grateful I get to share it with you guys and can record it and have YouTube share it with the world and educate people in the history, show them my journey, and keep the small scale mining alive. We're the lucky ones or the foolish ones that are gonna bring it back to life. Oh, that's good stuff, look at that. Okay, we're blowing up the hole, so watch out. Okay. He's gonna steal. He's gonna steal shit. He's got holes. Yeah, now put him in that hole. That's about good. Put the ball in that hole. You know what I'm saying? No. Here, hold that. So I don't want to make my hole go 2 feet. Oh, it's on the back. Hang on. No, we're about to the back of that. I understand. So I'm going to stop here. Put another one up here. Okay. One down here. Okay. And that one will go first. Boom. And these two will go boom. Okay. Yep, yep. Watch the fingers. Yep. Well, move my leg back. I got it. Take it out. Right. Put it up. Put a steel in one of those holes. This one? Now I can line it up. This has been a really, really hot spot. Geologists over the last 50 years have been coming down here. They've identified this as a really rich zone. The vein here is between 3 and 4 feet wide, and there's been multiple chip samples by accredited geologists all the way across the face from the hang wall to the foot wall, and time again it comes back between 1 ounce to 2.5 ounces a ton. So we've got some really, really rich ore here we're going to be working. My hope is that we get to blast this thing in the muck pile. As we start mucking, we're going to wash it down, and we're going to start looking for samples. We're going to look for golden quartz. We're going to look for some really interesting mineral stuff. And so I'm going to not only process the gold at the end and pour gold bars, but I also want to look for samples, take some down to the rock shop, slab them up. I might get into making cabochons, making some jewelry, so I'm really, really excited. I learned how to mine here, not in this particular workings, but on some other workings on the property. I worked from 2007 to 2010, and there are 2 guys that taught me how to mine, John and Claire, and I really appreciate what they did for me. Everything that I've done here so far, I learned from them, all about how to set stalls, how to run the drill today. I learned all that from them, how to blast, how to muck. And so they were a big part of my mining experience and my learning how to do this. It's very rare that you meet people in your life that are mentors, true mentors, that you can learn a brand new skill from. And this is really important to me because today we're gonna actually make something. We're gonna make a product. We're gonna get gold out. We're gonna get ore out of the mountain. This is really a lost art in America for sure. This small, high-grade, underground quartz veins, mining for gold is really, hardly anybody does it anymore. There's a few of us around that are still doing it. I don't mean to say that no one does it, but the skill set to do this is almost extinct in the US. And so it's really important to me, one, to keep it alive, and I'm teaching mine operator, Chad and Harry, how to do it so they can take it down to their operation, but also to educate as best I can you guys on video, show you the process. I know most of you will never go underground and do underground mining, but someone out there may find this information valuable, and if you don't record it, it's going to be lost forever. You know, I'm not going to do this forever. And I may be one of the few people left in the state that knows how to do it. And back in the day, they wrote articles and they tried to write books and stuff about it, but now we have YouTube and we have video, so I can record all this and I can show you exactly how I do things. It might not be the best way, it might not be the right way or the way that some of you guys out there learned, but today, by the end of the video, we're gonna drill and blast and get this shot and make some muck. And this is just, for me, this is just a really, really special moment, and I'm so happy I got to share it with you guys. That's from what, a quarter of the hole? And I missed half the cut?
Not even that was just the beginning of the hole.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's from like less than a quarter cut.
Yeah.
Good shot. I think you're maybe another 6 inches, 4 or 6 inches.
4 to 6 inches?
Yeah. Okay. Well, we just finished our drilling. We did a total of 28 holes. You can see our drill pattern where it's wide. We took 3 holes, and where it narrows down, we took 2. And we stopped back over here. I was going to take a little bit more over here, but we decided to stop at this row right here, because we're going to leave, eventually we got to leave with some support in here, so we figured we'd start with this little pillar here. And then we've got 6 holes over here on this side of the burn cut. And that's where, I think it was that hole right there, where I caught the cuttings in the pan and it panned out all that gold. So we've got some really, really nice stuff here. Now we just got to get it loaded and shot. Well, Chad and Harry are working on setting a couple of stoles along our face. So when the stope round behind Chad there goes, it doesn't blast all over the place. We can kind of contain it, and then it'll be easier mucking. So we're gonna get this cleaned up, and then I brought up some caps and some stick powder, and we'll get it loaded in the holes and shoot it. Well, I'm gonna start checking our holes. I've got this little spoon thing here, and that's to just clean out any junk at the bottom. Most of these holes will be pretty clean. Get a little bit of junk out of them, so we can make sure we get all the way to the bottom. Well, we're just about to load here, but I went over to those last 6 holes we did on the left side of our burn hole, and I just grabbed some of the cuttings right off the ground. Let's see if I can get a good showing for you here. But I don't know if you can see the yellow in there.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of it.
A lot of good gold in there. And I think a lot of that is from, it's kind of flaky, foily because of the drill. It's hard to work, and I'm all excited and in a hurry. But there's lots of gold, and that's from like, I don't know, 1/3 of a pan. I just grabbed what was on the ground right in front of the face. So there's some nice specimen gold that's going to come out of there, hopefully. All right, put it in the bag. We gotta go blasting. Let's blast this. All right, we're getting ready to load these holes. I'm gonna be using some of the stick powder. Some people call it water gel. They're 16-inch sticks. I'm gonna slide them down the end of the hole. You gotta be careful with these because they're pretty sensitive. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. They're pretty inert. You can hit them, you can shoot them, you can drop them down the raise. They won't do anything. So we take the water gel and a cap, and these are easy debts, handy debts, easy drifters, something like that. And we're going to put the cap in the bottom of the water gel, facing back towards the collar of the hole, and then we're going to slide it in the hole. Use a non-sparking powder stick and shove it to the bottom of the hole and then tamp it in there. And we've got room for one more stick. There we go. So we're going to do that with all 28 holes. And then at the end, we'll hook them all up in the order we want them to shoot. And I know I'm going to get asked this, so I'll just tell you, I am a licensed blaster with ATF and Washington State L&I. So everything I'm doing here is legal. I'm licensed to do everything. I can handle and buy and use explosives. We've got all of our holes loaded now. Now I've got to hook them up in the order I want them to shoot. You can't just blast them all at once because it won't give the holes over there anywhere to go to. And so I got to make sure that I blast a hole which gives room for the next hole to blast into, and et cetera, et cetera. So the way I'm going to do this is we have essentially a nice big burn cut already here in the vein. This was shot in 1980. This was the only blast since 1925 or 26, and most of the muck was in a pile that we just mucked out. This is the hole I want to shoot first because it's closest to our burn cut. I can shoot this one at the same time because it's on the other side and close to the burn cut, but I'll show you how I hook up these 6 and then we'll start working our way down that wall. So the way these work is I'm going to have a 0, which is the electric that we use to detonate and start the blast here. And I'm going to tape that 0 onto this yellow tube, which is a shock tube. And when we hook up the battery to the wires that are outside when we go out to shoot, it's going to make that 0 blast and hit this shock tube, and it's going to send the signal to the bottom of the hole where the cap is, and it'll blast the cap, but it also sends a signal to this clip, which has a little tiny cap in the clip. And so when I hook this up to the next hole, which is going to be this bottom one here, I clip the shock tube of the number 2 hole in the clip, and now that cap in this blue clip is going to send the signal down the second hole. And now this is where it gets a little bit, you got to pay attention to what you're doing. But I've got my number 1 right here. You won't be able to see this probably. But I've got my number 1 hooked up to my number 2. My number 2, I'm going to hook up to this one up here, which is number 3. And then number 3 can hook up. This one I can do 2 at once. So I'm going to do 2 4s. It's going to be this hole in the back and this hole right here in the middle. And that'll send the signal down to those 2 at the same time. And then I hook both of these up to our last hole on this side. And I leave that one hang, because that's not going to light off anything else. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to our number 1. And this number 1 hole, this is going to be the first one to go. and then it sends a signal down to this number 2. But at the same time, I'm going to send the signal over on the other side of the stope round. So I'm going to have a number 2 here and a number 2 over here. And then I got to make sure I pull the right wire, yeah, which is this one. So now I'm completely done with this side. I've got a hole here that's going to blast and relieve all this here, and then it's going to open up room for these two to go. So these two get clipped together. It doesn't matter if you have 5 that are all going to go to the next one. You always hook them all up to your next number, because the only ones you have empty hanging are the ones at the very end of your blast. You should never have any empty clips in the middle here. So now I'm going to have this one. This is going to go, boom. These two are going to go and relieve all that. This hole is going to go and relieve these two. So now I'm going to take this one, hook it up to these next two in line. I'm a little bit concerned that we drilled our holes too far apart here on these first 3. We kind of tightened them up there. This is a lot of material to heave out with that one hole, but I hope it works.
Does that mean that the rock would be bigger then instead of smaller?
It could be bigger, or if it just doesn't have enough energy to blast it, it'll just I don't know, there's a couple terms for it that I can't say on YouTube, but it'll just make that hole a little bit bigger and not blast all the way to the back. It doesn't have enough strength to blast the rock out. It just comes all shooting out back out of the hole. A lot of people in the last videos that I did asked why I don't use stemming. I've never used stemming. I never learned how to use stemming. The old miner that taught me, maybe he was just in such a rush to get it shot that we never use stemming. Stemming is where you pack, sometimes it's sand or something in the hole here, and that keeps the energy going out into the, blasting the rock instead of shooting out of the hole. Maybe anybody on YouTube that's a blaster can tell me if this is dumb. I'm not using stemming. I should be. And if I should be, how do I do it? I know kind of back in the day, some of the old guys would grab their cuttings off the floor and shove them in the hole. So the vein was real wide here. We had 3 holes. Because it was so wide, we had to have 3 holes to shoot the rock out. Now the vein pinched here, we only got 2. And I'm going to blast both of these at the same time. So I've got the 2, 1, 2 here. I'm going to hook them up to these 2 clips, 2 lines. And with 28 holes, it's really not too bad. But I've done stope rounds where you're doing over 100 caps or 100 holes. And it takes a lot of time. And at the end of this, we're going to go back and we're going to check every one of these connections, make sure I got the right ones clipped to the right holes. I got the sequence right. There's the other thing about these, I think these are called easy drifters. There's easy depths and there's handy depths. Maybe these are handy depths. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. There's a delay on the cap at the bottom of the clip and a delay at the cap at the bottom of the hole. The delay on the clip is 300 milliseconds, so it's 1/3 of a second. And the delay at the bottom of the hole is 7,000 milliseconds, which is 7 seconds. And the reason that is you're going to have all of these caps at the bottom here blasting off. So what you're going to hear is a boom every 1/3 of a second, starting with the 0. And what that does is it sends the signal down all the bottom of these caps, all the way down, and all the caps will go off, these blue caps will go off before the first cap goes off in the bottom of the hole. Because if they went off at the same time, you could have rock flying all over and it can cut tubes, and if you get a cut tube and the signal hasn't gone down, the hole won't work. The cap at the bottom of the hole will never get its signal. So that's why there's 2 different delays. So you'll hear boom, 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 boom. And then it'll be 2 or 3 seconds. Then you'll hear boom, 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 boom. And those will be the holes or the caps at the back of the hole. So we're going to hear 2 different shots go off essentially. And if you only hear 1 set, you're in trouble. Or if you only hear 3 booms and then 3 more booms, you're in trouble. And unfortunately for us, I don't have very much of that stick powder. We have 2 extra holes here that we didn't load because I only brought up 70 sticks. And I probably needed another 3.5 or 4 for each one of those holes, so I probably needed 76 or 78. But we've come to the end of our sequence. There's our last one that's just going to go off and not set off anything. So now I'm going to go through, I'm going to check all of the clips, make sure I got everything hooked up in the order I want it to shoot, and then we'll hook the 0 up. We'll hook the 0 up to the wire, and then we'll go outside and we'll blast this thing. So we're going to take our electric 0, and I'm going to treat it just like I do with these, but it doesn't have a fancy clip. So I'm going to aim it right at the shock tube, and I'm going to put electrical tape around it. See, the end of the cap is pointed right at the tube there. And so when that electric sets off, it's going to send the shock signal down both sides and start the whole process. And I'm going to put that facing in, away from everything, so it doesn't start cutting off any of our tubes or anything like that. Let's wake this mountain up. All right, we just got the okay from Chad. He's through the mine at the blacksmith shop. We're going to use a 9-volt battery, unshunt our wires. There should be 14 booms, and then followed by another 14. Ready? Comes more. Yeah!
That was awesome.
We did it!
That was rad.
Yes! It worked! First shot in the mine in 100 years.
You know, the hard part's gonna start now. Now we gotta muck all that.
Now the real work begins.
All right.
All right, give Chad a quick radio, make sure he's good.
Hey, blacksmith shot from the portholes. How do you read?
I read you loud and clear. I heard some boom.
So Jason and Harry went out of the escapeway with the radio, and I went out of the blacksmith shop. The only 2 ways to access this mine. Made sure no one else was in there. Secured the mine right before we blasted.
All right, I don't know if you guys can see it, but about 15 minutes after the blast, we have smoke exiting the blacksmith shop.
It's the next morning. The mine's vented out, all the gases are vented out. Woke up early, I've been thinking about this all night. We're gonna go down and take a look, see what that blast is. All right, we're getting ready to go in to check on our muck pile. How's everybody feeling this morning about it?
Couldn't stop thinking about it last night.
I know, I woke up in the middle of the night thinking about it too. But yeah, we'll go up and first thing we got to do is scale down, right? So we'll bring some scaling bars with us, and we'll close the water valve so we can wash the muck pile down. But I'm excited. About 1,000 feet through there, there's a bunch of gold laying on the floor waiting for us.
That's gonna be awesome.
See how much muck we have.
How much muck do you think's gonna be up there?
I don't know.
I know.
I don't know if it's going to be like a nice little pile or if it's going to be blasted all over everywhere. We'll have to see.
I think our stoles survive.
Yeah, see if your stoles survive.
Things, come on, we can get crap out of those things. They're gonna be in there.
Behind me about 75 feet is our shot. We're going to go take a look. There's just a little hint of gas smell in the air, but not bad at all. And we'll wash the muck pile down, wet it down. That'll take care of that. Have our guy scale his way in there. We're just sounding off the back. So far, it's all sounded real good. We haven't had anything that was dodgy.
Oh, I like that smell.
Smell of money.
I love the smell of explosives in the morning.
Oh man,
Oh, wow.
look at that.
Dang. Holy smoke. Look at how much muck there is. Woo.
I did not expect that.
Our stool survived.
Yeah.
Some of the lagging did it.
Holy cow. Woo! We're back in taking a look at our muck pile. Harry's scaling down the back. And we're gonna find some gold today.
Oh, we got a clean face there. No, took out our fence.
Oh yeah,
Good thing we put these sandbags here. They caught some stuff.
they did.
Yeah, they took some of it.
We got muck out over here. All this is new. This is all this. The bigger stuff is new. Wow, it just piled it up in the corner. Yeah, there's really hardly anything on the floor here, is there?
Right.
It just shot it all over that way. There's probably, what do you think, 90% of our muck's over there?
Yeah. That's a good estimate.
80 to 90.
Whatever's over here are some larger pieces.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean, pretty easy to muck.
Those will make some really good slabs.
And if you haven't mucked, it's not easy, but
This is a lot of material to hand muck.
we're excited because it's got gold.
right there, fresh face.
Yeah,
Oh, that's gorgeous.
a lot of good sulfides.
So, what do you think?
I think it went okay. I'm not quite sure. We got a misfire right there, which caused that one to not go the way we wanted it. These two, that one there and that one there, weren't loaded. The vein's doing some funny little thing where you got a big chunk of waste in the middle of it now,
Yeah.
right here.
Looks like it kind of dies right there, dips a little.
Yeah, it dips down and then goes up into the hanging wall. And you got a horse to waste in there, right across there.
Horse to waste.
So I'm not really sure. We'll have to wash it down and get a real good look. This is the fun part, getting the muck washed down. We're getting the vein washed down. We're taking a look at some of our holes. And YouTube, I need your help again. So all you guys out there with blasting experience, a lot of my holes didn't blast all the way to the bottom. I have a couple theories. I think one of our first holes is right up over here. And they didn't get all the way to the back of the hole. We're missing about 6 to 8 inches on some of those. This one's maybe more like 1.5 feet. That one right there. Some other ones here that didn't go all the way to the back. My theory is that I spaced them too far. I thought that I could heave more with the explosives I had. I should have put my holes closer together, and maybe stemming would have helped. But we've also had some weird stuff with the vein where, like over here, the vein kind of splits. You get this horse to waste. So we were drilling, we were getting waste in the bottom of our holes back here, and it looks like the vein splits, and we left a bunch on the hanging wall. So that's a drilling problem, not necessarily a blasting problem. The ones back over here in the corner went pretty good, but then I think we had a hole here that is probably 2 or 2.5 feet that I think it just had too much to heave out of there. It was all waste rock. The waste rock isn't as brittle as the quartz, so it doesn't break as easy. And so once that one didn't go, then this last hole here didn't go either. That's probably 2.5 or 3 feet deep. That the explosives went, the cap went, and it blasted the hole, but it had so much rock here, it couldn't, the gases couldn't break that out, and it kind of came out and just broke the collar of the hole. But anyway, let me know what you think. How can I get better breakage in here? This quartz is extremely hard. It's very, very brittle. And so maybe I just need to calm down a little bit and drill my holes closer together. Ready?
Yep.
Ooh.
Sounds better.
We still got some more work to do back there. This is what we're looking for. Here's our first specimen. Gold flecked all the way along here. All up in there. There's a bunch of little fine gold. It's a nice, nice piece. And it's right kind of in these gray bands I've been talking about. That's where it's hanging out. So we're gonna do a special sack for all our specimens and take those out separate. That's not going in the muck pile. That's going in the slab saw. All right, I got two here that I think are really, really good looking. But there's some gold right there in that streak. Here's that. There's two different minerals we got. We got this silvery gray mineral. That's where the gold hangs out with. And then for comparison, and then we got stuff like this. That's pyrrhotite. It's an iron sulfide. And the gold doesn't hang out too much with that. It hangs out with that other silvery mineral. So we're finding stuff. I bet you that stuff came from over in the corner there. Yeah. That really, really rich spot over in the corner.
Okay.
We'll
We're gonna
keep
find
looking.
his brothers and sisters.
Yeah. All right, I want to give you a little update here. We're bringing our bigger rocks out and stacking them along the fence here. And those will be good rocks to slab back at the rock shop. Once we get down to about grapefruit size, we switch and hand put them in bags. So we've been filling up bags with baseball size down to, I don't know, yeah, right around baseball size to grapefruit size. And then everything else, the fine stuff, we've been raking up into little piles like this one here. And Chad's been using his patent pending method here. We've got a safety cone to cut the top off of. And then he can just rake it right into the cone. So more or less one full cone gives you one full sandbag.
We got a full sandbag.
Nice.
I wouldn't like it a cone.
I know, I'll have to buy two. All right, we're mucking back the good little corner here we had. The vein looks like it's getting wider and wider here, which is good. But right back here in this corner is where we had all those really rich drill cuttings. And I'm really hoping we can see some gold in the face. Oh yeah, there's a big hole back there. Some water in there. I like this filming while you guys work.
How'd you like it when you came up here and there was like a drill ready to go for you?
Yeah, it was all ready to go. Yeah,
You didn't have to drag it up yourself.
this is great. I like the supervisor role.
Yeah. You tell us we're doing it wrong.
We've got most of our muck pulled away from the face there. We don't have the footwall exposed yet, but man, we've got a pile of muck. Mountain of muck. We've got some really, really good looking stuff right along here, all along this line. You see there, right with my thumb, nice, nice piece of gold. And you find it right up in those bands, right there. There's our pile. So we've been busy. I brought 85 bags up, 83 bags, something like that. So we're filling them up. All right, Harry, it's your last bag.
Last bag.
Did 85 bags today.
That's not bad.
No, I think we started about 2. It's 5:30 now, so about 3.5 hours. We're
How many hours?
3.5.
Oh, we do this for 8 hours.
Speak for yourself. It's actually not, the mucking's not bad. I think the mucking's easier than moving the bags and Last bag.
You still in the pile?
Oh yeah, there's our sandbag. There's probably close to 100 in that pile. And we still got to get them out to the truck.
Now we gotta build a cart.
Now we got to build a cart.
Stand some track.
Yep, rail. Well, cheap.
Well, it's gonna be not strap rail, but it'll be a rail.
It'll be, yeah.
It'll be something.
It'll be something. Something to make it easier on us.
A poor boy rail.
Yeah. Well, very nice. You're sitting on a bunch of gold right there. And we're going to start building rail back along our haulage adit, back to the bottom of the raise so that we don't have to wheelbarrow our bags of muck. And we have our resident track standing expert.
Oh yeah, done this a million times before.
You know how to do this, right, Dan?
Oh yeah.
That's why you're here. You're on vacation. Dan does weird stuff on vacation.
I do.
Well, we are making progress way faster than I thought.
Do you pull out your camera at the same time I did?
I did.
Definitely. I was just gonna say, we're making progress. This is going fast with 3 of us working here. And you know, 3 brains is better than 1, that's for sure. We're working off of each other's strengths here and figuring this out great.
I really liked your idea of putting the sleeper just on the intersection of the long rails, and then we'll come and add them where we need to later.
Yeah, we're just doing the joints for sleepers to start with. Corner, we need more sleepers because we're, you know, going around a corner. And this is great. Tap with a hammer, it'll fall.
Yeah, get a hammer. Now he's thinking like a miner.
Jippo mining.
Yeah, it works. I like how Dan's just riding the cart up and down the rail already.
He's got the best job.
He's got the best job.
Except I keep putting my foot in the water. I have frozen feet by the end of this day.
Dan is having way too much fun. Kid in a candy store on his little cart trolley he's got. And Dan's kind of self-centering the cart, or the rails with the cart. He toenails the rails into the sleeper on the joints. Going around the corner is a little bit of a trick, but we're getting the hang of it.
Yeah, so
Trying to level as we go. This is going great. This is going so fantastic. Here's our first load going back on the rail. We're using our rail to build more rail. Sure beats the wheelbarrow.
Oh yeah.
Dan is screwing in our last 2 rail that we have. We are so very close. We did the rail all the way to the back of the raise, almost. We're about 20 feet short. Dan's the man.
Dan is the man.
So now we're coming along and we're putting sleepers in the middle where we need it. Chad's scooting down the cart, drilling the extra sleepers onto the rail, and then we'll come back and we'll level them up and shim them up as needed. There's been a few spots, like in this corner, where we've had to cut the rail that we put in with Dan and kind of graduate the curve a little bit. But this will be good here. This cart's gonna make a heck of a difference. And this is more or less what the final product's gonna look like. Got our stood rail, we got a sleeper underneath, a spacer in the middle that we've tied in screws this way to hold the rail so it's not bending in. And then we have these little 2x2 kind of fish plate, pseudo fish plate things, so it can't bow out at the joints. And we're just going along, and we settled on 1 sleeper in the middle of an 8-foot run. And then obviously when you go around the corners, you gotta shorten up. But that's what it's looking like. And so far it's working real good. We've got the rail completely done to the raise and all the way through the transfer level. So today we're gonna be bringing out 50 bags of ore, getting it in the truck, and taking it down to the mill. Here's the rail and the transfer ways. These guys nailed this out. Just went beautiful. They were using some blocks and some of the old rail that was here. And now we're working on sending bags down the chute. Exciting stuff. Our first ton out of the new gold mine. Here's our little cart loaded up. We got 4, 3, 2, and 1. So it's 10 sandbags total. We are cruising down the transferway. Like all good miners, we're trying to break everything we make. So we have 12 bags on our cart. We'll see if the cart survives and see if the rail survives.
There you go.
Rail's good.
There's a 500-pound load.
Yep. Yeah, what do you think, Chad?
Hey, you know what? It's better than the wheelbarrow. We like to handle our ore like 3 or 4 times for a good workout.
Yeah.
So this is our gym membership right here.
Well, this was kind of the last big project. Now it's just drilling and mucking.
Yep.
And getting ore out.
Yeah,
like
now's the fun part.
Now's the fun part. That's what we've been waiting all season to do.
Absolutely.
10 bags are on their way out the haulage way. And again, look at that. One hand, I can push them. I want to be a little careful here. Make sure we're all going on the right track. Boom, we're good. Here we go. Next stop, the truck. All right, guys, well, we've definitely got some improvements to make. We're gonna bring the rail all the way out here. I've got bags right now. I'm standing on the truck and I'm loading them into the super sack. And what I really need to do is be able to come out of the blacksmith shop here, shoot them down a chute that goes right into the bed of the truck. And I think it might be best to ditch the bag and just stack them on pallets. Okay, we have successfully moved 43 bags of ore into the back of the truck. So we have about a ton.
That is awesome. We're finally getting ore out of this mine.
We're getting ore out of the mine. What do you say, Harry?
Yeah, it's gonna be some work.
I know. Well, the first one's always the hardest, right? So we gotta figure out. There's some improvements to be made, but we got some good ideas.
The track didn't break though.
The track didn't break.
Sticky spots, but nothing failed.
And we couldn't have done it without the track. Yeah. Hands down. I mean, there's no way.
Yeah. You know, it's
To the
nice
truck.
is when you think about it, every time you're pushing that, there's like $400 to $800 per.
Yeah, that's right. Pushing it out of the mine.
Maybe $1,000.
Maybe $1,000 in there.
That makes it better, huh?
That makes it better.
Yeah. All right. Well, good work today, guys. We did it. We got our first bag of ore out of the mine. Hey, Harry, that's a nice shirt you're wearing.
Oh, you like that, huh?
Nice. Dan, any special requests for today's video on what you'd like to see or do?
I want to see what you guys are up to. So whatever a day in the life of Jason and Harry and the mine is, I want to see that and record it. And of course, we hope to get some good high-grade ore that we can crush and find some gold.
We'll do it. I think we can do all of those things. Dan is up in the honey hole here.
In the honey hole.
There's
There's high-grade stuff here.
There's some good stuff here. Yeah, I'll show you where it is.
Excellent.
Sitting on a muck pile. You might be sitting on $20,000 worth of gold right now, Dan.
That's the way I like it.
But we'll get them started with the old manual job here, and then we'll move on to the hammer drill.
Oh. Air quality's still good.
Good.
Where are we? Oh, yeah, juicy.
Yeah, that's the one where that rich pan came out of.
Really? Okay,
Yeah,
I'm going after that.
That's the one.
That's the beast. I'm laying the wrong direction. Now we're getting material. I might need some of those earplugs though.
Yeah, I got some here.
Oh, that's loud.
See any gold in there?
Gold, gold, gold. Lots of sulfide, no gold.
Okay.
But my eyes are so bad.
Yeah.
Even if it was staring at me, I wouldn't be able to see it.
Hard.
Hard. Hard, hard, hard.
Dan is in some really, really good stuff.
Don't take it off.
Mine! Oh, mine!
A lot of VG in there. That piece he's working on, we think, has a piece of visible gold on it.
Oh, but it's stubborn!
It's hard, hard stuff. It is. We ran out of batteries, and we're all tired and out of batteries.
Yeah, all of us.
We got a couple bags filled though. That's our last pan full.
What did we get? 3 bags full
Yeah, 2.5, 3 bags somewhere in there.
of the good stuff.
Yep. So we'll take that down and crush it. Now I think it's time for lunch.
Sounds good.
Dan has successfully moved his bags from over there to here, where the cart is.
We're almost there, right?
Yeah, we're almost there. The first 10 feet's the hardest. Here's our bags from the stope. This is the stuff that Dan mined out for us. We have 125 pounds roughly. We are going to run it through the jaw crusher, the hammer mill, and the shaker table. And we're gonna see how much gold we're gonna get. Harry, how much gold do you think we're gonna get?
I have no idea.
No idea, not even gonna play the game. Dan?
20 grams.
20 grams. I'm gonna say 8.5. I'm gonna shoot for 8.5. Conservative. All right, let's do it. Here we go, first bag.
First piece of gold to go by. Oh yeah, we got gold. There's another piece coming out.
Just starting to see our first line of sulfides come out here. And the gold, there's gold down here. There's some nice gold coming here.
There's a nice piece. There's a nice piece going by.
There's a line of gold coming out right at the head. Across here. And a band of gold down under the water bar.
This is in the hopper that, well, what do you call this tray?
The chute.
The chute between the crusher and the shaker table. I'm sticking to my 20 grams.
There's a lot of gold there.
I still have no idea.
You plug the water back in, Harry?
Yeah.
All down here. Very nice.
Stop the table for a second so we get a good shot of this gold coming out.
Look at all the gold.
Crossing cameras.
Yeah. All the way up there. It just works its way right out of those top 3 grooves. Right down this long groove up onto the cleaning plane. It makes a band all the way down to the number 1. I don't know who's more excited, me or Dan.
Me.
Dan is.
Me.
All gold, all the way along the water bar. Well, I guess my mine turned out okay, huh? Lots of gold. That's what we wanted. Nope, don't move too fast. We took 125 pounds down to about 100 grams, and that's where almost all of our gold is. There might be a little bit in the number 2. I will pan that out and we can take a look at that. But first, let's pan the number 1s and see what we got. Here's a quick look at what we panned out from our number 1. That's a lot of gold. Let's see if I can not pour it in my lap. Here's our concentrates. I've mixed up about 125 grams of cons, about 200 grams of soda ash, about 200 grams of anhydrous borax, and about 30 grams of silica. Mix it up. I'm going to add a couple nails, and we'll put it in the furnace. Here are the cons in the furnace. Melt down. We're going to pour them in our cone mold and get our prill out and put it in the Cupel oven in a minute. So this is quite interesting. This is the number 2 that I've panned all the way down, and this is the gold that was in the number 2. And don't get me wrong, there's still gold there, but it may be just a couple of percent of what went into the number 1. And so we took 125 pounds, concentrated it down into 125 grams, and got 97% of the gold in the number 1 and 2-3% in the number 2. So the table is very, very efficient at concentrating the gold in the number 1. Come on. It's got a pretty good effect though.
It does. The surface of the sun effect.
But
Everybody likes that. Yeah, that's a pretty nice pattern. Here's our pour. Let's see if we get any metal out of the bottom.
like loud.
Here we go.
Nice.
Why isn't there a big gold pyramid cone on top of that?
It's
thing?
just got a thin layer of slag on it.
Let's take a look. Here's our metal. We did have a little layer of matte on top. So what I'm going to do next time is add a little bit of potassium nitrate as an oxidizer, and we'll oxidize that away, and left with just metal. But let's weigh it before we put it in our Cupel. 17.7 grams. So my hope is half that's gold.
Mm-hmm. Time to Cupel the prill.
We're going to put it right in there. It will melt very quickly. We should be able to see it start melting pretty soon. All the base metals will oxidize and go into the Cupel, and we'll be left with our precious metal bead when it's all over. Come on, melt.
Any second now.
Anytime!
I guess all that gold's making it tough to melt, right?
That's what it is. All that gold is making it, raising the melting point.
Alrighty, I think we've got it. That's bright in there.
It's hot. Now it's still molten, so if we do it right, we should be able to see it cool.
Boom.
Did it solidify?
Yep, just blink.
Oh, I didn't get zoomed in on time.
I missed it too. Maybe not.
None of us
No,
got
I
it.
think it's still, is it still molten?
No, I blinked.
Yep.
It's unmistakable.
Guesses on weight? I'm saying 4 right
4.
now.
I'm saying 5. Wishful thinking. Hey, light's nice.
It's looking good. Yeah, it's dark in here. The camera decided it needed light. That is amazing looking. Bright gold.
Let's see what it weighs. Ah, you were right.
4.29.
Still not bad.
4 gram button in 125 pounds of cons, of rock,
Of rock?
of ore. Someone do the math real quick. Well, there we go. That comes out to 70 grams per ton, which is just over 2 ounces per ton. Nothing wrong with that, Jason. Nothing wrong at all.
We did well. Thanks for doing all the work.
Hey, no problem. It was fun. Work, no. Play.
No, play.
Playing.
Thanks for coming on vacation with
Yes,
me and finding some
exactly.
gold by
Playing in
accident.
the mine.
Yeah. As you can see, it's a beautiful late summer day here in the North Cascades. Snow and freezing temperatures make everything harder. Well, Chad's over here just a mucking machine. We've mucked our way back pretty much to the working face where our high grade stuff is.
Mucking's doing great, actually. I feel like I could do this all day.
Good. We've got all day to do it. We figured it was about somewhere between 40 and 50 bags to the ton. And we have, whatever I said, about 200 bags over there, plus or minus. So we probably have 4 ton, maybe 5 ton. And what do you think? Are we halfway?
Yeah, close to it. And you know the way I look at it is that's all that matters is what's in front of me.
Yeah.
I try not to get overwhelmed by all of that. I actually get excited we have that much muck, so every time I'm filling up a bag, you know, it's gold, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yeah.
So,
You get excited for all this work ahead of you, huh?
so I keep myself entertained
That's
pretty
good.
well up here.
That's good. 1 bag at a time. How's it going, Chad?
Well, I'm motivated because you just showed me a line of gold right here in the face of the vein.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Nothing else motivates me as much as seeing that gold right there.
That's right.
You know what? I would estimate maybe 3 tons, 4 tons here.
That's what I was going to say. I was thinking I was going to say 4 tons.
Yeah.
So if we can get 4, well, I think we can do about 30 or 40 bags an hour.
That seems right.
Is about what we've been
Yeah.
doing, and we figured about 40 bags to a ton. I've got mountains and mountains of sandbags here full of ore. I want to try and capture some of this free gold for you in the face. But right there is some gold. I believe right there is some gold. Up in here. There's some gold up over here. Right up in there. And it's right along those gray streaks. Right along there. A lot of nice gold in there, really, really rich stuff. Looks like there might be some more right down in here too, huh? We're back in our scope. Mine operator are my heroes. I'm telling you guys, these guys are workhorses. They have mucked the entire blast, our first scope round, all in bags. We've got 100 bags down off the mountain right now. We've got maybe 400 more stacked there ready to go down. But our season's winding down. We've got one more blast here behind me I want to do. Right here behind me is where we're going to start our eye drift. We're going to go back about 20 to 25 feet. We're going to intersect the fault raise. Then we're going to drift on the fault about 30 feet until we hit the raise. And then we'll be able to send all of our muck down here and cut out about 400 feet worth of screwing around we have to do now. So this is going to be the first round of that eye drift. We're going to do a split shot of the vein, which means we're going to take just the vein, we're going to drill and blast the vein, and then later we'll come back and we'll blast the wall rock separate so we don't contaminate all of our ore. Our first shot, we had our 15 ton or so that we just took right on the vein. We did a little stope around here just to get some money going. But now we really got to focus on this development work behind me here. And we debated whether we should start taking some of this wall rock out and get ready and get a nice flat face for our eye drift. But we kind of all agreed that take your money and run. We're here, we're at the vein, split shoot the vein first, we'll get it mucked, we'll get it down this season, and if we have some more time, we can start working on this wall rock. But as you saw previously in the video, it's starting to snow outside, and once it starts snowing, that's kind of the nail in the coffin for us here in the mountains. So the first thing we got to do is what's called a burn cut, and I was reading about this last night, a little trivia here. Burn cut is short for the viburnum cut, which was developed in the lead zinc mines in Missouri back in the 50s. And the whole idea is you have to drill some holes right in the center of your round that will give you somewhere for your first blast to break to. So you need a hollow spot for that initial blast to open up a hole, and then once you have that hole going, you can shoot to that hole. Because if I just drill a hole in here and I load it with explosives, it doesn't have anywhere to go. It just rifles right back out the hole. So for this cut, what I was taught is I was always taught it should look like a 5 and a dice. So a hole in the middle, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 around it. And you use the 0 hole that you don't load, and then you load the holes all around it. And that works okay, but I'm going to try a little bit different strategy. You only have 1 hole that's going to relieve you any of that initial blast. So I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to do it like a 6 on a dice. So 2 holes, 2 holes, and 2 holes. And I'm going to load one corner with the first blast, and I'm going to load the bottom one with the second blast, or I might do 2 number 1s, because you'll have 4 holes that initial blast can shoot to, and then you've got a pretty good sized hole opened up. After your first couple go, then we'll have 4 on the corners. That'll open up the hole. 4 more around here, and then we'll have a nice big burn opened up that we can slab the rest of our round into. We're going to do about a 5 to 6 foot wide shot here. So this is going to be kind of our main workings once we get it developed to the raise, and then we can stope up and bring it all down into this eye drift, and we can stope that way and bring it into the eye drift. So this has got to be wide enough that we can work. We can get a slusher bucket in here in the future by about a 7 foot wide drift. We're not any of these old miners that are, we're not working crouched over anymore. We're blasting enough rock so we can work standing up. But I'm going to be using a 6 foot steel, so I don't have to get the machine all the way up to the face. I can have it come back about here, so I'm not trying to push it in that little hole there. Before you put any steel on the drill, you always make sure that it blows, and that way you know the steel's clear and the water can make it down. If you don't do that and you have a little piece of junk in there, it can get shot down the steel with the water and it can clog in there, and then it's a real pain in the butt to get your steel cleaned out. The other thing I was always taught is before you put steel in the drill, you give it a good whack there a couple times, a couple of good whacks there, so you can get it all cleaned out. Give it a quick blow. There we go. Now we know our steel's clear. This is the bits that we use here. They're button bits. Some of the old ones were star bits or cross bits where it was just an X on the drill bit. But these are our button bits. I really like these. They last a long, long time. And for comparison, this is another bit that's pretty much worn out. It's still got some life in it, but it's about done. The buttons are all worn off, smooth with the edge of the steel. And when these things go all the way done, they can actually just round off the whole bit and you can lose the hole. So you don't want to run them all the way down to nothing. And then for comparison, here's a brand new one. There's 2 holes, one here and one here for the water to come out right at the end of the bit, right where it's knocking. And as that drill works, the steel hits the hole, pulls back and turns, hits the hole again, pulls back and turns, and it does that real fast. Boom, 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 boom. And just drills a hole right down through the quartz. We're gonna hook up the air hose first. You gotta have a whip check on every connection of the hose, including your oiler. I've got an oiler over there And that feeds a little bit of oil to the drill to keep it lubed up when you're running. And I'm sure some of you are going to cringe when you see me do this. But this is how you tighten the air hose on your jack leg. There we go. Tight. Kink that over so you're not getting sprayed everywhere. There we go. Air and water to the drill. So we've got our burn cut in. It looks like a 6 on the dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 holes. Don't worry about that little guy over there. That was a little screw up, but we got our 6 here. And the important thing to understand about the burn cut is it's the first rock you break in your blast. And so the holes, the dead holes, have to be very, very close to the loaded holes in the corners, so that you don't have a whole lot of rock to break and you can shatter everything into the middle and make a big hole. So it's really important, these 6 holes have to line up in space, 3D space, and the back of the hole has to be in almost the same orientation as the front. You want about 1 inch to 2 inches separation, and so these things need to be exactly parallel with each other in this direction and in this direction. So if you come look down the steel, Chad, you can see the steels are shooting right in line with each other. And when you look at the side, as you saw previously, they're about 2 inches apart, 1.5 inches apart, right here at the end and in the back of the hole. So it's really important. If you have them all winging out everywhere, it might look really nice and square up front here, but you can have the holes going 1 foot apart at the back end, and then you freeze your burn cut, and then your whole round is in trouble. We got our round all drilled out. It took us about 4 hours. I think there's 22 or 23 holes here. So now we're going to load our holes and set our delays in the correct order so that our burn goes boom, the holes around the burn make it quite a bit bigger, and then we can start shooting around and slabbing into our burn cut. You use a non-sparking push stick. A little piece of PVC works great. And then you push it at the bottom of the hole. Well, we're experimenting with stemming here. I've never done this before, but I've been reading this to be pretty important for keeping the gases in and having them break into the hole rather than just blowing right back out at you. There's got to be a better way to do it than this, but Harry's just kind of getting some up there, and I'm tamping it in with the tamping rod. because we have to hand muck all this stuff, we're putting a little stall wall right in front of the face. And this way, hopefully that will contain a lot of the muck. Our round is all hooked up. I have all the blue caps pointing away from the shock tubes so I don't accidentally set off shock tubes in the wrong order. We're all loaded. I just have to hook up this 0 to the number 1 tube, and then we use a battery outside to light this thing off. All right, I'm ready to hook up my battery.
Dang.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Nice. Nice.
Exactly what we wanted.
All right, walking into our active heading here. All of our sandbags survived. Here's our sandbag pile. I estimated there's about between 200 and 250 sandbags here. So I can load about 8 or 10 bags on this cart. And then I will push it down the rail to Harry. Each bag weighs about 40 to 50 pounds. Now begins the real work.
Yeah, now comes the fun part.
It's such a weird feeling to be in this mine and to be able to use this same track that the old miners put in. They used it, they moved muck with it, and now 100 years later we're doing the exact same thing on the exact same track. It's a real unique feeling, like being part of history. I'm writing a new chapter for the mine. Mine operators here helping me, and we're all just kind of continuing this story, and it's a really unique situation to be able to open this underground mine and have it produce again. First leg's about 100 feet or so, and we got a little drop down to the transfer way. All right, Harry's gonna bring a bag over from the cart. We got a little slit in our netting here. There we go, right down to the bottom where Chad's at. And here's Chad loading the cart in the transferway. Here's our top of our chute. Harry will send the bag down. Right down here where we can load it.
Getting the gold out of the mine.
Getting the gold out of the mine, one bag at a time. And this is about another 100 to 125 foot little transfer here. See if I can get out of the way enough. So here he comes. The bags are going to the top of the raise.
Oh yeah. Now we got to get him down there.
Yeah, now you got to go down the chute. Well, you may be asking yourself, what's this huge fender buoy doing underground? And we are going to try a new system where we cut a hole in that thing and use it as a skip bucket to send the sandbags down. We are at the top of our raise now. We've got bags stacked. Chad's been working like crazy stacking all these bags.
Trying to keep up with these guys. They keep feeding me bags.
Yeah, I'm surprised you kept up with us. We can load a bag in there.
All right, now make sure rope is not around my feet.
Yeah. There we go.
Touchdown.
Buoy's at the bottom.
All right, 84 more to go.
84 more to go.
83 actually.
And then 175. Yeah! Well, look at there. It made it down just fine. Sandbag is safe and secure. Made it through the little tight spot. This is right where our track starts and another cart. So 3 carts, 3 transfers, about 1,000 feet, and it ends up in the truck. What do you say, Harry?
I like this.
The final bag for this trip. Now I will push this 550 feet out to the blacksmith shop. The last 100 feet, you want to kill yourself. It's horrible. There's two big sweeping turns that you got to get through. It's horrible. Your arms are burning, your legs are burning. And this one's for my buddy Jeff. Who needs a gym? Just be a gold miner. Now when the truck's already loaded, we just stage our bags right here in the blacksmith shop. So we got an empty truck. We load them all in the truck and take them down the hill. About 400 to 450 pounds in a load. So about probably closer to 5 loads is a ton. Whew. Now we have a little push bar and a wedge. And I just push it right back to the bottom of the raise. Well, I wanted to show you our progress here between this stuff behind me. And then we've also got some stuff over on this side. We've got 86 bags down. And it took us a little over 2 hours. So that's right around 2 hours for 2 tons. So we're doing about a ton an hour. And that's all the way from the stope, all the way down to the blacksmith shop. I'm pretty impressed with that. Mine operator is killing it, and we are really moving the muck today. Well, Harry says we're getting low on bags up here, so I thought I better come take a look. Oh, we got lots of bags still.
This is not a lot of bags.
Oh, we just moved another 100 down to the top of the raise.
Yeah, we're a little out of breath right now.
Yeah, we've moved 186 bags. I've been dreaming about moving this waste pile too somewhere. I wasn't going to tell you guys, but
Well, if we get done with all the bags, we can move the waste pile, huh?
yeah.
Oh, you mean there's more work to do?
Always more work to do. I'll always find something to do.
Absolutely.
I just can't believe that these two are still smiling. They love it. They love every bag. Every bag is a new, exciting adventure for them. So I really appreciate mine operator, and I appreciate you guys watching at home, because this is a lot of work, and I'm glad somebody's getting some enjoyment out of it. When it finally clears up, you got some snow-capped peaks. It's not a bad view from the mine portal. Well, it's the next morning here. We have mucked over 150 bags down to the blacksmith shop portal here. And I don't know about you two, but I feel like I was hit by a train last night. I'm really sore. Chad, how you feeling?
I'm sore, the hands are sore, but we're gonna get more out today.
Yeah, we still got a lot more bags. Harry, how you feeling?
I'm pretty tired, dude. I think everything hurts.
Everything hurts. Yeah, everything hurts.
That's perfect, because now there's nothing that's going to be worse tomorrow than that doesn't already hurt now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, can't get any worse than it is.
Yeah, can't get any worse.
That's a good way to think of it. That's a good way. And we still got over 100 bags up top, don't we? That we got to get out of the stove.
Yeah.
So we've got some work still to do, but we're gonna get some bags in the truck today and down to the mill. Here's the last handling of the sandbags before they get to the mill. This is taking them from the blacksmith shop into the back of the truck. You can fit about 35 to 40 bags in the truck on a pallet. And then we take them down and put them in the mill. We just counted, this is the 10th time we've handled these bags. We've handled them 10 times to get them to here.
I don't know if I'd advertise that.
I know.
So, for all those CrossFitters out there, this is the ultimate workout right here.
This is the ultimate workout.
Yeah,
So really,
who needs a gym?
if we get 10 tons down this season, we'll have moved 100 tons worth of rock. Craziness. On today's video, I'm gonna get my gold out of my gold ore. About 6 months ago, myself and Chad and Harry from Mine Operator went up to my new gold mine. We got it rehabbed. We got back to the vein. We drilled it, we blasted, we mucked the ore, we got it down here. And today is gonna be the video where we finally get our gold out. I have been so excited to get this stuff ground up and get some gold out. I know you guys have been waiting a long time for this as well. We're going to start this process with our jaw crusher, then we're going to run it down through our hammer mill over here onto our shaker table and recover our gold. I've got about 40 sacks here. Each sack weighs about 50 pounds, so we've got a ton. And this is the run of mine stuff that we blasted, mucked, put in sacks, down the raise, out to the portal, in the truck, and all the way down here to the lowlands. But I do have a few bags of this stuff left over. I'm gonna list it on eBay if you guys are interested in trying out your hand, getting some gold from this stuff. And stay tuned a little later in the video because I got another surprise for you coming up. The whole process is gonna start here with our 6x10 jaw crusher. The ore gets fed down the feed chute here, down into the jaws. The jaws crush it down to about 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch minus. This little 6x10 is a great unit. It'll do between 1 to 3 tons per hour, about as fast as you can feed it by hand. It makes a great 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch product that we can then bring over to our 16 inch by 12 inch hammer mill. I'll feed the ore down the orange hopper of the hammer mill. The hammer mill is run wet to keep the dust down. There are 20 swinging chrome hammers inside that hammer mill that feed up the ore until it will pass a 0.8 millimeter screen that wraps around the lower 180 degrees of the hammer mill. And once it's crushed and falls out those slots in that hammer mill screen, the slurry will come down this orange chute and into the aluminum shaker table distributor trough. Once in the distributor trough, the slurry is evenly spread out and fed onto our 4x8 shaker table. The gold and other dense minerals settle down into our grooves in the shaker tabletop, and the shaking action of the shaker table moves the dense material in the grooves over to the cleaning plane and down into the number 1 and number 2 concentrates. The shaker table will recover 95% of the free mill gold down to 325 mesh, and we have recorded 400 mesh and smaller gold being recovered on the shaker table. The number 1 concentrates will hold the majority of the gold. The number 2 concentrates will be a mixture of mostly sulfides with a little bit of free gold. And the majority of the sulfide concentrates will report to the number 3 middlings. All of the quartz and other gangue minerals will flow off the shaker table because they are not dense enough to settle down into the grooves. They flow down into the number 4 tailings trough and are piped over to our spiral classifier. The spiral classifier classifies the material by weight. So in this settling pond at the bottom of the spiral classifier, anything that can settle down into the bottom of the pond will get augured up and out the spiral classifier. Into the coarse tailings bag at the end of the spiral classifier. During this process, the material is also dewatered, and so it's a very nice product. It's much easier to handle than mucky, wet tailings, and it can easily be rerun back through a system or another grinding device to liberate more gold. Any particles that don't settle down to the bottom of the screw flow out the black pipe and into our settling pond, which is a buried concrete tank. And only the very finest particles are able to flow up out the water column and into the settling pond. These are the 3 core components of our 1 ton per hour turnkey system. We also have a much more automated 1 ton per hour system where the operator can feed the material directly into a vibrating hopper, which flows down through the jaw crusher into the hammer mill, onto the table, and out the spiral classifier without ever having to handle the ore again. And if you're interested in any more information on the products we sell, you can give us a call or email, and you can find lots more information on our website, all of which can be found in the description below. I'm just finishing up the run here behind me. I've got that bucket, 1 more to do. The shaker table's doing its thing. The water's a little bit muddy, so it's real hard to see what's going on. But the shaker table is still separated by density, and all the gold's coming across this way for the number 1 and number 2. We're all finished up here. We're going to take a look at our number 1 concentrate here. There we go. That is all the number 1 concentrate from 40 bags. So about a ton, plus or minus maybe 10%, but there's maybe a pound there. My experience has been this is where 90% of the free gold goes, 95% sometimes. The rest goes into the number 2. Here's our number 2. I had to switch buckets here towards the end because my other bucket got full, but there's that much. And then this is the one we started with. It got pretty full there about 3/4 of the way through the run. But that's what the number 2 looks like. And it's just mostly pyrrhotite and pyrite are the 2 main sulfides I have in this ore. But you can see it's just pure sulfides. A few little pieces of quartz in there, but it's 99% plus sulfides. This is where most of our good stuff is. So let's take it over to the smelting lab and we'll get it smelted down and get our gold out. Before we get started smelting our stuff down, I want to show you another little project I've been working on. I'm going to run some of our ore that I got out of my gold mine. I'm going to try and run a ton through this thing dry. I was amazed at how fine this thing can get. It was crushing really, really fine dry. I think it crushes a lot finer dry than it does wet. I've got 2 bags full that we crushed through our 16 by 12. I've been getting a lot of emails from you guys asking if there was any way that I could crush the ore so you could just pan it out directly, because a lot of you guys don't have crushers. So I'm gonna fill these bags, put them on eBay. So if you guys are interested in buying some pre-crushed ore, check out the eBay listings. The link is down in the description below. I got my last bag. It's a couple pounds shy, 22.5 pounds instead of 25, 26. So I'm going to throw a couple of slabs in this one with visible gold. There's some gold on this side. There's quite a bit of fine gold all up on this side here. You can see it right through there. So someone is getting a little surprise in their bag. There we go. The last bag. I've got 74 bags of crushed up ore. And when they're gone, they're gone. But now let's get to smelting. We've got 500 grams of number 1 concentrates. So now let's mix up some flux. I've got our flux mixed up here. Let me mix it in with our number 1s. When we got everything mixed up, I've gone back and forth and I've tried experimenting with all sorts of different flux recipes. And kind of the one that I've landed on is I like to do about twice as much flux as there is concentrates. In this particular one, since I'm dealing with pure sulfides, I did about 650 grams of soda ash. I did about another 150 grams or so of anhydrous borax, and then I did the rest as silica sand, which got me up to 1,000 grams. I'm going to add a bunch of iron in here in the form of nails. That's going to pull the sulfur off some of these sulfide compounds. It's going to reduce any base metals in there that aren't iron. and the iron is going to go into an FES phase, which is just iron and sulfur. And the thing about that is it's soluble in our basic slag, so that's why I added so much soda ash. We hopefully won't get a matte layer between our metal button and our slag. All the FES should be absorbed into our slag, so we'll have a nice big fat black slag layer and a little button at the bottom. That's going to be where all our precious metals are. Here's our number 10 or 12 crucible. Should have plenty of room for all of our concentrates here. We'll add some nails in the top. Okay, everybody, here we go. The hope is we get a metal prill at the bottom and all slag on top. There should not be a matte phase between the slag and the metal. There's maybe a little bit of matte on there, but I think all this underneath is all metal. I'm not sure what we have here. I don't think it's all metal. I think there's probably a matte phase with some metal at the tip of the cone. Well, we've got 121 grams of something there. I figured there was only going to be about 1 to 2 ounces of gold at the maximum, so that'd be about 60 grams. So we've got 2 to 4 times more than I thought we were going to get. Well, I'm going to try something here. This might be crazy or it might not work. I've put our metal prill and probably some matte there in the bottom of a crucible. I'm going to put it in here. I did this one other time. It worked okay. I'm going to see if I can melt out the metal from the matte, and then I can pour the metal out into a cupel or a cone mold or something, and then leave the matte behind. Let's see if this works. I'm also going to add 18 grams of bismuth. The bismuth will really help reduce the melting point of any precious metals in there, and that way we don't have to get it so hot, and we can leave the matte phase there, and all the precious metals in the bismuth alloy will melt, and we can pour it out much cooler than we would if it was just precious metals. Man, you know, I think I've got this all figured out. Oh, this will be easy. We'll just smelt down our cons. I've done it a bunch of times. We'll get our ounce of gold or ounce and a half of gold. It'll be great. And then, you know, it throws me for this loop and I don't know what's going on. Let me show you what I got here. So this is the stuff that I scraped out of the bottom of the crucible while it was still real hot. And I think this is all the iron sulfides that we remelted down, but I couldn't get them to melt again. I could feel them with my stir stick when I was stirring on the bottom. And I don't know why I couldn't melt them again. I mean, obviously I melted them the first time because they all ran down to the bottom of the cone. here's what I just poured, and it was a fine pour, but usually when I've got a bunch of collector metal, I added that 18 grams of bismuth, and there should be an ounce of gold in there. I usually see a big metallic, I don't know, phase pour out into the bottom of the cone mold, and I didn't see that on this one. So I'm wondering if I don't have any metal in the bottom of this one. Maybe I do. I'll just have to be patient on that and wait till this cools down. But I do not know where my gold went. I should have an ounce of gold somewhere, either here or the stuff on the table I just showed you, or maybe it's, I don't know. I don't know where it is. Well, I tared the bin, obviously. I've got 116 grams of this matte stuff. And I think I put in 120 or something is what I remember. So I didn't reduce the volume at all. Hardly. I mean, 5 grams is nothing. So all my precious metals is in there still. Okay, here we go. I either have an ounce of gold in the bottom of this, or we have a mystery on our hands here. Man, look, nothing. Nothing in there. Man, oh man, where did my gold go? I'm not quite sure what to do here. I'm gonna go home, sleep on this, and we'll try again tomorrow. All right, guys, well, new day and a lot of new ideas here. I did a few things last night that I didn't get on film that I think answered some of the questions for me. So let me get you caught up on what I did last night, and then we'll talk over some of the ideas we're gonna work through today. Well, here's all that metal matte stuff that came out last night. And before I left last night, I took a little bit, put it in a cupel with some bismuth, and it didn't work very well, but I did get a little gold bead. And so that tells me that most of our precious metals, I think, is in this stuff. Okay, now we'll just kind of mix it all up there. Pour it into our crucible. All right, here we go. This should be our metal prill. Cross your fingers. You can get it out. There's our metal. There. Now that's a better looking bead. We can work with that. So I'm hoping it's mostly precious metals. Let's go put it in a cupel. All right, put it right in there. While we wait for that stuff to cupel, I've got a few larger rocks here. I want to take over the rock shop, cut them up, and I want to show you how cool this Mount Baker lightning quartz is. These sulfides running through here against the white quartz looks really, really cool when you cut it. All right, let's see what we got. Ooh. I've got that one wiped off, cleaned off. Beautiful, beautiful sulfides in there. Look at all that metal. Very cool looking. We'll take another slab off this guy, see what else we can get. So look at there, I got her wiped off. And right there's some nice gold. Right in the face. It's good stuff. Lots of really cool stuff out of that rock. I got little stand-ups. I got some slabs.
Yeah, look at that. That's a beauty.
Okay, let's have a look at our gold. And there it is. It's a beauty. Look at that crystal structure on there. That's pretty cool. There we go. Gold from the gold mine. 1 ton of gold ore has about 33.6. Just over an ounce. Just over 1 ounce per ton. Well, guys, this has been an absolutely amazing journey for me. We got up to our mine, we rehabbed it, we drilled it, we blasted it, we mucked it, got our ore down, and now we finally got some gold out of it. So I really, really appreciate you guys watching. Without you guys watching, and the support through eBay and Patreon, I could not have done this. And if you are interested in supporting, I'll leave the links down below. You can check out the eBay listings, my Patreon account, and some other stuff if you guys want to get involved. I want to give a huge thank you to Mine Operator also. Chad and Harry, thank you guys so much for helping me out up there this year, and I hope to see you back up there next year. So thanks again everybody for watching. Stay tuned for season 2, and we'll see you in the next video.